All right, sit down. No, really, sit down and clear your head. Forget everything you think you know from the movies, from that TV show with the guy who drinks his own pee, from the stories your uncle told you after a few too many beers. I need you to listen to me closely, because what I'm about to tell you isn't for entertainment. This isn't a fun thought experiment. This is the hard, cold, brutal truth that separates a survivor from a statistic. The things people believe, the things they do when they're scared and desperate, are often the very things that will sign their death warrant. I'm going to break down these myths for you, one by one. I want you to burn this into your brain until it's instinct. Because if the worst ever happens, instinct is all you'll have left, and it better be the right kind. We're going to start with the most fundamental, the most pressing need your body has, and the one that inspires the most deadly folklore: water. Part 1. The deadly myths of desperate hydration. Listen to me. When you're out there, lost with the sun beating down on you or the cold, dry air sucking the moisture out of your lungs with every breath, your mind will start to play tricks on you. Your tongue will feel like a swollen piece of leather. You'll think of nothing but water. It becomes an obsession, a siren's call that will lead you to do incredibly stupid, incredibly dangerous things. This is where the first set of myths will bubble up from the depths of your panicked mind, whispering what seem like easy solutions. They are lies. They are traps laid by ignorance, and springing them will kill you faster than thirst itself. Let's talk about the desert. You've seen it 100 times, haven't you? The hero, staggering through the dunes, sun-bleached bones scattered in the background. His throat is parched. He's on his last legs. And then he sees it. A barrel cactus, a symbol of hope. He takes out his knife, hacks it open, and scoops out the watery pulp, drinking greedily and saving his own life. It's a powerful image. It's also, in almost every case, a complete and utter fantasy that will lead to a horrific death. I need you to understand this. You do not drink water from a cactus. Let me repeat that so it sinks in. You do not cut open a random cactus and drink the fluid inside. Why? Because that fluid isn't the pure, life-giving water you're imagining. Cacti are masters of survival, and they don't survive in the harshest environments on Earth by being a welcoming, mobile water fountain for any desperate creature that comes along. To protect their stored water from animals, the pulp of most cacti, especially the barrel cacti you see in movies, is filled with toxic alkaloids and acids, primarily oxalic acid. What happens when you ingest this stuff? You're already severely dehydrated, your body is under immense stress, and your kidneys are working overtime. Now you've just dumped a load of poison into your stomach. The immediate result is violent illness. You will experience severe nausea, followed by debilitating vomiting and diarrhea. Think about that for a second. You are in a situation where every single drop of fluid in your body is precious, a microscopic jewel of life. And you have just voluntarily chosen to enact a process that will purge your body of whatever moisture it has left. You are literally drinking a laxative and an emetic. You are speed-running the dehydration process. The cramps will be excruciating. Your electrolytes will be thrown into chaos. Your kidneys, already struggling, will be pushed towards complete failure. You will die miserably and in agony, not from thirst, but from the cure you thought would save you. But what about exceptions, your brain might ask? I heard there's one kind you can drink from. Yes, there is one, the fishhook barrel, and some prickly pear fruits can provide a small amount of moisture. But let me ask you this, are you a botanist specializing in arid desert flora? Can you, under the duress of extreme thirst and panic, with 100% certainty, differentiate the one safe cactus from the dozens of others that look vaguely similar but will kill you? The risk is monumental. The reward is a small amount of slimy, acidic liquid. It is a gamble you cannot afford to take. The myth of the life-saving cactus is a Hollywood invention, and believing it is suicide. Now let's move on to the second, even more disgusting and equally deadly myth of hydration. This is the one made famous by TV survivalists looking for shock value. The idea that, in a pinch, you can drink your own urine. The logic on the surface seems almost plausible. It's mostly water, right? Your body just got rid of it, so it can't be that bad to put it back in. This line of reasoning is a fatal misunderstanding of basic biology. Listen, your urinary system is not a water storage tank. It is a waste disposal system. It is your body's fantastically efficient filter for removing the toxic byproducts of your metabolism. That yellow liquid is not mostly water in any useful sense. It is water that has been specifically tasked with carrying urea, creatinine, uric acid, and a concentrated cocktail of mineral salts and other waste products out of your body so they don't poison you from the inside. When you drink your urine, you are forcing your kidneys, the very organs that worked so hard to get rid of that poison in the first place, to process it all over again. Imagine you have a water filter for your house. It pulls all the dirt, rust, and grime out of your water. Now imagine taking all that collected gunk, mixing it with a little bit of clean water, and pouring it back into the filter. How long do you think that filter will last? It will clog, it will fail, and that is exactly what you are doing to your kidneys. In a dehydrated state, your urine becomes even more concentrated, more packed with these toxic waste products. The first time you drink it, you might get a tiny bit of fluid, but you're also reintroducing a heavy load of toxins and salt. This makes you even thirstier and puts more strain on your system. Your next urination will be even more concentrated, even more toxic. If you drink that, you are simply accelerating the process of kidney failure and systemic poisoning. You are creating a death spiral. You are taking the garbage out of your house and then immediately dumping it back onto the living room floor. It's insane. It will not save you. It will not prolong your life. It will guarantee a faster, more painful death as your organs shut down. It is a last resort that should never ever be resorted to. So, what do? You're dying of thirst, and I've just taken away your two most famous get-out-of-jail-free cards. You do what actual survivors do. You use your brain, not your gag reflex. You look for real water. You get up before dawn and collect morning dew from broad leaves and flat rock surfaces with an absorbent cloth. You look for signs of water, converging animal tracks, the presence of insects like bees, and lush green vegetation, especially willows or cottonwoods, which are almost always near a water source. You can dig in dry riverbeds, especially on the outside bends, where water might be filtered by the sand just a few feet down. You can create a solar still, a classic but effective technique. Dig a hole, place a container in the center, cover the hole with a plastic sheet, weigh the center down with a small rock over the container, and seal the edges. The sun's heat evaporates moisture from the ground, and any green vegetation you throw in the hole, it condenses on the underside of the plastic and drips down into your container. It's slow, but it's pure, distilled water. It's work, it takes knowledge and effort, but it will save you. The myths are easy and lazy, reality is hard. Choose reality, burn this into your mind. No cactus juice, no urine, ever. Part 2, the fatal fictions of shelter and warmth. All right, you've got the water situation locked in your head. You know not to poison yourself. Good, but water is only one part of the equation. The rule of threes is the gospel of survival. 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in extreme conditions, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Notice the order there. After immediate physical trauma, what's the next biggest killer? Exposure, the cold, the elements. Dying from hypothermia is a slow, insidious, and brutally efficient process. Your body just gives up. And just like with water, there are pervasive myths about staying warm and sheltered that people cling to. Myths that feel right but are lethally wrong. They will lull you into a false sense of security right before they kill you. So listen to me and listen closely. Let's start with shelter. It's the first thing you should think about in any situation involving potential exposure. Your body is a furnace, constantly generating heat. A shelter's primary job is not just to keep the rain off your head, but to keep that precious heat from being stolen by the environment. The most common image of a survival shelter is the lean-to. It's simple, intuitive, and the first thing most people would try to build. You find a big log or a rock face, lean a bunch of branches against it, cover them with leaves and pine boughs, and huddle underneath. It seems logical. It will keep the wind and rain off you from one direction, and in many survival situations, it is woefully, fatally inadequate. The lean-to is a failure because it completely ignores the two most significant ways you lose body heat: conduction and radiation. Think about it. You're lying on the cold, hard ground. The earth is a massive heat sink. It will suck the warmth directly out of your body through conduction, like placing a warm steak on a cold marble slab. You can have the best roof in the world, but if you're lying on the bare ground, you will freeze. The lean-to also fails because one entire side is wide open to the night sky and the cold air. You are radiating your precious body heat out into the infinite blackness of space. Convection currents will carry drafts of cold air in, stealing more warmth. A lean-to is better than nothing, but it's like trying to heat your house in the winter by only building 3 walls and leaving the 4th one completely open. It's a losing battle. What you need is not a roof. You need a cocoon. You need what is called a debris hut. This is the shelter that will actually save your life, and it is built on the principle of insulation, not just cover. Listen to how it works. You find a sturdy ridgepole, a long thick branch, and prop one end up on a tree stump or in the crook of 2 trees, about hip high. Then you lean other smaller branches thickly along both sides of this ridgepole, creating an A-frame structure, like a steep roof tent. This frame needs to be just big enough for you to crawl inside. A small space is easier to heat with your body. Now for the most important part, the debris. You gather leaves, pine needles, moss, ferns, anything dry and fluffy you can find, and you pile it on, and on, and on. Do not stop. You need a layer of this insulation that is at least 2 to 3 feet thick, arm's length, all over the sides and the top. This massive layer of debris traps countless tiny pockets of air, and trapped air is the best insulator on the planet. It's the same principle as a down jacket or fiberglass insulation in your attic. But you're not done. You've insulated the top and sides, but what about the ground? You crawl inside your nearly finished hut and you fill the inside with another foot or 2 of the same dry, fluffy debris. This is your mattress. This is what will stop the cold ground from sucking the life out of you. You are creating a human-sized nest. When you are done, you should be able to burrow into this pile of leaves inside your hut, pulling more debris in front of the entrance to plug it, until you are completely encased in a thick, warm blanket of natural insulation. It will be tight, it might be buggy, but it will trap your body heat so effectively that you can survive a freezing night even without a fire. A lean-to leaves you exposed. A debris hut embraces you. One is a death trap of false hope. The other is a life-saving womb. Know the difference. Now, let's talk about the other great myth of warmth, one that has killed countless people who were cold, scared, and looking for a bit of comfort. The idea that a shot of alcohol will warm you up. It's a romantic notion, isn't it? The Saint Bernard with the little barrel of brandy around its neck, reviving the stranded mountaineer. A swig from a flask of whiskey by the campfire, sending a warm glow through your veins. This warm glow is a physiological lie. It is your body betraying you, and if you listen to it, you will die. Here is what is actually happening when you drink alcohol in the cold. Alcohol is a vasodilator. That's a fancy word meaning it causes the blood vessels, particularly the small capillaries near the surface of your skin, to expand and open up. Your body, in its wisdom, naturally constricts these vessels when you are cold. It's a survival mechanism. It pulls your warm blood away from your extremities and your skin and keeps it deep in your core, protecting your vital organs, your heart, lungs, and brain. It sacrifices your fingers and toes to save your life. It's why you get pale and your skin feels cold to the touch. When you drink alcohol, you are chemically overriding this life-saving command. The booze forces those blood vessels to open wide, and a rush of warm blood from your core floods to the surface of your skin. This is what creates that pleasant, deceptive feeling of warmth. Your skin is literally getting warmer, but you are not. Your body is getting colder, and it's happening at a terrifyingly fast rate. You have just taken the precious heat that was protecting your vital organs and pumped it to your skin, where it is immediately radiated away into the cold air. You are venting your core temperature like a chimney. That warm, fuzzy feeling is the feeling of you actively losing the fight against hypothermia. To make matters worse, alcohol impairs your judgment, making you less likely to notice the real, dangerous symptoms of hypothermia setting in. It also inhibits your body's primary defense mechanism against cold, shivering. Shivering is an involuntary muscle contraction that generates heat. Alcohol can suppress this response. So, you feel warm, you stop shivering, you think you're doing better, but in reality, your core temperature is plummeting towards a point of no return. You'll get drowsy, you'll feel comfortable. You might decide to just lie down for a little nap in the snow, and you will never wake up. Alcohol is not a heater, it is a heat pump, and it's pumping your life's warmth out into the void. Never ever drink it to stay warm. What do you do instead? You build that debris hut I told you about. You build a proper fire with a heat-reflecting wall behind you. You stay dry. You do push-ups. You drink warm, sugary liquids like hot tea or cocoa if you have them, to provide both hydration and calories for your internal furnace. You fight. You don't take a chemical shortcut to a comfortable death. Part 3. The Hollywood horrors of first aid and predators. We've covered thirst and we've covered the cold. You know how to avoid poisoning yourself and how to avoid freezing to death because of a lie. Now we need to talk about the things that can happen in a split second. The sudden violent encounters that require immediate, correct action. This is where the movies and television have done the most damage. They have ingrained images into our collective consciousness that are so dramatic, so heroic, and so utterly lethally wrong that following them is like jumping off a cliff. When panic strikes, people default to what they've seen, and what they've seen is a script for disaster. So listen to me, and listen more closely than ever before, because this is about fangs and claws. Let's start with one of the most iconic scenes in all of adventure fiction, the snake bite. You know the drill. A character gets bitten, usually on the arm or leg. A companion, or the hero himself, whips out a knife, bravely slices a big X over the fang marks, and then stoically sucks the venom out, spitting it on the ground. It looks decisive. It looks like you're doing something. In reality, you are performing a series of actions that range from useless to actively harmful, and you are wasting the only resource you have, time. Let's tear this myth apart piece by bloody piece. First, the cutting. When a snake strikes, its fangs inject venom deep into the tissue, often into the muscle. The venom doesn't just sit there in a neat little pocket waiting for you to open a door for it. It is immediately absorbed into the lymphatic system and begins to circulate. Slicing open the wound does absolutely nothing to get the venom out. What it does do is create a large open wound. You are severing veins, nerves, and potentially tendons in a non-sterile environment with a dirty knife. You are turning a puncture wound into a major trauma, inviting a massive infection and risking permanent disability from nerve damage, all for zero benefit. Now for the sucking. It's pointless. Studies have shown that even with a perfect suction device applied immediately, you can remove only a statistically insignificant amount of venom. Your mouth is not a medical-grade vacuum. You will not get the venom out, period. But what you will do is introduce a host of bacteria from your mouth, a famously dirty place, directly into the wound you just foolishly sliced open. You're creating a prime breeding ground for a nasty infection. Furthermore, if you have any cuts, sores, or abrasions in your mouth or on your gums, the venom you're sucking up can be absorbed directly into your own bloodstream. You could effectively poison yourself while trying to save someone. The entire cut and suck procedure is a dangerous, unhygienic, and ineffective piece of medical malpractice performed by amateurs. So, what do you actually do? The correct procedure is maddeningly simple and counterintuitive because it involves doing very little. First, and most importantly, stay calm. Panicking raises your heart rate, which only circulates the venom through your body faster. Keep the bitten limb below the level of the heart if possible. The next step is to immobilize the limb. Treat it like a broken bone, use sticks as a splint and strips of cloth to tie it securely. The goal is to prevent muscle movement, as muscle contraction helps pump the venom through the lymphatic system. Remove any rings, watches, or tight clothing from around the bite area, as significant swelling is likely. Do not apply a tourniquet. A tourniquet cuts off all blood flow. Unless you are a trained medical professional in a very specific situation, like with the venom of an Australian brown snake, which is highly unlikely for most people, applying a tourniquet will concentrate the venom's necrotizing agents, causing massive tissue death and almost guaranteeing the loss of the limb. And finally, the most critical step, get to a hospital. The only real cure for a venomous snakebite is the correct antivenom. Your job is not to be a hero with a knife. Your job is to be a taxi. Your priority is to facilitate professional medical help as quickly and calmly as possible. That's it. Keep calm, keep still, get help. Anything else is a deadly distraction. Now, for the big one. The bear. No other animal inspires such a primal mix of awe and terror. And the advice for what to do during an encounter is a minefield of deadly misinformation. The most common myth is a simple one. If you see a bear, play dead. This advice is not just wrong. It's a coin flip that could get you eaten alive. Whether or not you play dead depends entirely on one crucial factor. What kind of bear is it, and why is it attacking you? You must learn to differentiate between North America's two main bear species, the black bear and the grizzly bear or brown bear. Black bears are smaller, have no prominent shoulder hump, a straight Roman facial profile, and taller, more prominent ears. Grizzlies are larger, have a distinctive large hump of muscle on their shoulders, a dished or concave facial profile, and smaller, rounder ears. Knowing this difference is life or death. Let's talk about black bears. Black bears are, by nature, more timid and skittish than grizzlies. The vast majority of black bear attacks are predatory. They are not defending cubs or a carcass. They are hunting you for food. In this situation, you do not play dead. Playing dead is simply presenting yourself as an easy meal. It's like ringing the dinner bell. If you are being approached or attacked by a black bear, you need to do the opposite. Get big. Make yourself look as large as possible. Yell, shout, wave your arms, throw rocks and sticks. Be aggressive. Show the bear that you are not prey, that you are a threat and will be difficult to take down. If it makes physical contact and attacks, you must fight for your very life. Use anything you have as a weapon, a knife, a rock, your fists. Aim for the eyes and the nose. Do not give up. People have successfully fought off black bears. Playing dead is surrender. Now let's switch to the grizzly bear. This is a different beast entirely, both physically and temperamentally. Most grizzly attacks are defensive, not predatory. You have surprised it, gotten too close to its cubs, or stumbled upon its food source. The bear doesn't want to eat you, it wants to neutralize you because it perceives you as a threat. In this specific scenario, a defensive attack from a grizzly bear is when you play dead. Do not run. You can't outrun it, and running will trigger its chase instinct. Do not make eye contact, which it sees as a challenge. Speak in a calm, low voice as you slowly back away. If it charges and makes contact, drop to the ground. Lie flat on your stomach. Spread your legs to make it harder for the bear to flip you over, and clasp your hands behind your neck to protect your spine and major arteries. Lie still and silent. The bear wants to eliminate the threat. Once you are no longer a threat, once you are a still, silent lump on the ground, it will usually lose interest and leave. Remain still for several minutes after you think it's gone. It might be watching. Getting up too soon could provoke a second, more vicious attack. So you see, play dead is only half the story. It is the correct response for a grizzly, but it is a death sentence with a black bear. Your survival depends on making the right identification and the right choice in a matter of seconds. Forget the simple, one-size-fits-all myths. Your life is on the line. Knowledge is your weapon and your shield. Burn these truths into your soul. They are heavy, but they will keep you alive when all the easy lies have faded away.